Data lineage, especially when now looking at machine learning and AI, is really tough. It was tough before. For those that aren't so familiar, data lineage is to basically know the entire life story of a particular piece of data. And that becomes really difficult. Some of the ways that data is used is first, you would maybe collect it into some production server. So you're hosting it. And then you have part of your organization that needs to use that data. You're probably not going to give them access to the production database. You're going to copy that over somewhere else and secure it so that they have a secure way to use it. Maybe you have a scheduled sync, or maybe you have a real-time data flow. But now you have two copies of the data. You have the production data, and then you have the data that's being used. And then let's say you've hired a third-party data as a service company, pretty common. You would say, okay, this company is going to give us a lot more data science expertise, data analyst resources, and they're going to give us some really good insights from our data. So now you create another copy because maybe you have to redact some of that. You can't just give everything to them. Or it's slightly different than the data set that you're using internally, and you just want to keep the data separate. So now you have three copies. Already it becomes very difficult to have a documented data lineage. So I don't know how close we are to a solution to data lineage in general, but looking at some of the ways that privacy technologies can be used, we're probably not too far off from at least greatly simplifying that. If you had a production data set and you're using our platform, you could encrypt that into one new location, but then you could join additional analysts, whether they're internal or external, to only pre-approved things with that information. So now you can have maybe 4 or 5 analysts working on the same data set with different purposes and different restrictions, but none of them have access to it. They're just pre-approved to run different computations or queries and then get those results back encrypted so that they can provide value. So that's one easy way where you can start to see not only data minimization, but data lineage becoming a lot simpler of a solution if you don't have to duplicate for every use case. I believe Gartner has 40% of organizations have at least 10 to 15 copies of any particular data set. So it becomes very difficult. And with AI model training, organizations go out for, say they need to do some inference on some real third-party data. They may struggle to even get a third party to agree to give them that data. They don't want to give their model to a third party because if that model is leaked, that's their IP, and that could be a problem. So they would need a flow to securely train that data and run the inference and then get the insights back. That would give you some governance and reporting of, okay, at this point, this model was run against this data set, and now we know we have it. I think there are solutions yet to be developed that are on their way to giving us those answers. Some of the people pushing against these regulations will say, oh, how are we supposed to do anything with these rules? Now we can't go over here to get data. We can't go over here to get data. How are we actually going to do this? How do we even make money with our model if there's no secure way to prove value to a customer without exposing either the model or the data? So these solutions are, again, they're going to be there to help the compliance part. The adoption is going to come faster because people realize that it allows them to do so much more in a more safe fashion.